Whether you love them or hate them, the Kardashian family is everywhere. But there's one side of their story the cameras haven't yet captured. The Malibu Nanny shares her adventures raising the Kardashian clan, and that is next.
Is she here?
1, 2, 3 lump sum.
For years, 123 Lump Sum has paid out more than $200 million for people with structured settlements. If you have a structured settlement as a result of a personal injury claim, wrongful death, or lawsuit, get your money now. Eliminate debt, start a new business, buy your dream house. Sell your structured settlement today. For a free quote, call 800-230-7907.
1, 2, 3 lump sum.
Well, a few years ago, Pam Behan was in a grocery store checkout line, and as she was looking through the supermarket tabloids, she noticed something strange. Her family was on the cover.
Pam Behan planned on a summer visit to Los Angeles after her first year of college, but she got a job as a live-in nanny for former Olympian gold medalist Bruce Jenner and his 2 boys, and stayed. When Bruce married Kris Kardashian, Pam agreed to nanny for her kids, who today star in their own reality show. In her book, Malibu Nanny, Pam takes us on a journey from her small-town life in the Midwest to the glamour of Beverly Hills, and shares how she figured out the greatest adventure of all.
Well, Pam is with us today. Welcome to the 700 Club.
Thank you so much.
You're a Minnesota girl.
Yes,
How did
I
you
am.
wind up out in Beverly Hills?
Well, it was actually kind of a fluke. I followed my best friend out there, and I was just going to get a summer job, and went to a nanny agency. They set me up with Linda Jenner. I had no clue who Linda Jenner was until I saw pictures of Bruce on the wall, and I thought, you know, Bruce Jenner, oh my goodness. And basically, my intentions of a summer turned into 8 years.
Wow. Because then Bruce eventually wound up marrying Kim Kardashian.
Kris Kardashian.
Or Kris Kardashian.
Yep.
And how did you become involved with them?
Well, when I started, Bruce and Linda were actually already divorced. So I worked technically for Linda, but Bruce was very active in the boys' life, so I knew him very well. And then when he got engaged to Kris, he asked if I would come with them. You know, she had 4 kids. Brandon and Brody were getting a little bit older. I thought, you know, Bruce is still their dad. I'll still see them all the time.
Sure.
So then I went with them when they got married.
You know, Pam, people think, oh, a nanny job, so cush, but it really was a lot of work. Tell us what your life was like then.
Well, it is both. You know, it was fun, and I got to see and do some things I never.
Some interesting
traveling,
places.
Very nice cars, very pampered. I was kind of spoiled myself, but it was a lot of work. I got up very early in the morning to get these 4 kids, you know, their lunches packed and off to school, and then back to school myself, because I was a full-time student at that time as well.
So while the kids were off, you were going to school, but then at the end of the school day, you had to be back on duty again.
Yes, like immediately after school, I was back in the car going to Beverly Hills to pick up the kids and take them to their events, and I cooked for them. I wouldn't say I was the most amazing cook, but I at least put food on the table.
You know, living in that environment, just the whole Hollywood environment, I think, can sometimes so change your own perspective on life. You dated a celebrity at one point, and it really kind of changed your own value system, didn't it?
You know, it kind of snuck up on me.
Yeah.
I went to church, you know, all my life. My parents took me to church. I was actually a church organist from the age of 13 on, and so very regular churchgoer. But when I went to LA, I became a nanny. I stopped going to church because, well, they didn't go to church on a regular basis, and then I worked on Sundays. So I just kind of got out of the habit, and I just kind of felt myself growing further and further from the Lord.
What actually ended your time with them?
Well, it was a combination of things. I would honestly say that my whole walk with the Lord, maybe my feeling about myself, was getting less and less. And also, I had already been there for 8 years when Kris was then pregnant with Kendall. And I gave my notice when she got pregnant just because I knew if I saw this baby, I would be attached all over and I would probably never leave.
Yes.
So that was one of the main reasons.
So you kind of left to get on with your own life.
Yes, because when you're a nanny, really their life becomes your life.
Along the way, after you left California, you went through some difficulties in your own life and eventually found your way back to God.
Yes.
What was the motivation in that?
I think for me, it took hitting rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I made a series of very bad choices, and all of my family and friends were looking at me like, what are you doing? I couldn't see it though. I couldn't see it until I literally was at rock bottom and I needed God in my life.
You know, right now, as I said in your introduction, there's so much going on with the Kardashian family, multiple people doing multiple things, very visible. If you could give advice to the kids that are now grown up, that you once spent, you know, every day with, what would you say to them?
I wish that I knew if they knew the Lord or not. I don't want to assume anything, but I know their father, who is now passed away, loved the Lord. And I think he would agree with me too, to make sure you know the Lord.
Yeah. And it makes a difference in life and in your values,
it does.
certainly, as it has in yours. And you write a great deal about how your journey to God evolved after spending years with the Kardashians, years out in California, and then several years finding your road back. And is your life what you'd like it to be now?
I am very content and happy now. I live a very simple life. It is nothing like the lives that they live, but I'm very content. I have a 6, almost 7-year-old. He's the love of my life, and I am happy.
Well, all of the story is in Malibu Nanny, and you'd like to get a hold of it, Adventures of the Former Kardashian Nanny. It's available wherever books are sold. Pam, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today.